Was introduced to Bjork by Michael Birdie, who at the time went by anonymous. There's a few names, but you heard me mention him in the other videos, and I believe that's who put me on to Bjork. I say Bjork. I don't know why. Maybe it's a New York thing. But the name is correct way I believe to pronounce it is Bjork, which is strange. Doesn't roll off the tongue that well, but Bjork was my favorite artist for a long time. I guess you just absorb so much of it. It's like there's nothing left to absorb. Until you get new material. I think that there's a few things I want to talk about. In particular when it comes to her. One, I want to talk about. I believe she's titled like the queen of art pop. Whatever that means. I can't imagine any of her music to be any form of pop. Period. I don't know where they come up with that genre. It's strange. However, two songs in particular that grabbed me: Human Behavior and Hunter. Now, Bjork clearly is an oddball. And thank God for that. She had a voice or has a voice, but more so than even when she was younger. It's like a little girl, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And there was certain notes that she would hit. In the song Hunter, she goes, she sings, "I thought I could organize freedom. How Scandinavian of me." And then all of the sudden, all of these notes come out, and you absorb it, endorphins are released, and it reminds me of some kind of utopian heaven as all of these notes come together. That's what it feels like, and you want to stay in that place. You want to become that place. I used to walk with the radio, and I would play Bjork, which was very odd, I think, for a lot of people, because any of you familiar with Bjork know how kooky like that sounds, and let alone like a kid with dreadlocks looking like a hip-hop head walking around playing this back then was a bit of a sight, because we didn't have the integration of genres that we do now. The iPod changed everything. But back then, that was that everybody belonged to like their own private sect, and kind of like your taste defined like who you were as a person. Your taste in music. I think we classified people as, oh, he's a rock head or he's a hip hop head, or like this was like your musical taste was your identity, at least in our minds. And so I would walk around playing this because I could not get enough. And I think with her, it was the first time that I ever experienced true fandom, fanaticism. I remember specific thoughts of thinking to myself, wow, like this person is alive and she exists somewhere simultaneously, the same as I do. This person really exists. It is possible that I could one day bump into her. Like, that was the level of fanaticism that was taking place, because you, I guess, idolize something so much that they become like this larger than life figure to you. You begin to like worship them or something. And that's what it was with her, because there was just so many. I met her once. That was one hell of a night. But before I get to that, there's another song on the Post album, and It's two. Goes in from one to the other, and it's at the end. I think it's one is called Cover Me, the other one is called Headphones. And she's getting into where she says like, um, this is very dangerous. Cover me. I'm going to prove the impossible really exists. So then Headphones comes on. Genius to fall asleep to your tape last night. Sounds go through my thoughts, these abstract, wordless movements. Uh, Sounds that have never been, something that has never been touched before. These sounds are virgin. Oh, and then she lets out this note and just, it's a, my headphones, they save my life. But the passion behind it, and it's just all over this soundscape of just like, I don't know, what sounds like these bass lines that almost sound like creatures coming like little, which is going to lead me into the topic of my next video. But before, I don't want to stray. The night that I met Bjork, I was in Chinatown. I had the album on me. This is how much of a fan I was. Mind you, no, uh, nothing to listen to the album with. Just walking around with a Bjork CD. In case maybe there's a chance to listen. I don't even know why. But here I am with the CD. I was going somewhere. We were going somewhere. I don't know. But I look to the left. Across the street, I see what appears to be like 25 grown adults, but they're dressed like ravers. It was odd because it's one thing to dress like a raver, like you're in your teens or even as a young adult, but these people were like 40 years old, 50 years old. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. I felt she was going to be in that crowd. I knew she would be in that crowd. I don't know. I felt it. And I saw one small woman in, like, I don't know, the middle of this crowd of like artsy people, ultimately. Essentially. So I say like, that's Bjork. Well, the way I said, that's Bjork. And I'm right. It's her. I don't have, I walk up to her. I'm dressed preppy. And I ask for an autograph, but she can't deny it because I actually have the album on me. I have the album on me to get the autograph. And I get the autograph. But the interesting thing about that was how I was able to sense that was actually her. Like that's odd. And another time she actually she was in my man Reason. I mentioned briefly in other videos who I mentioned other videos. Maybe I'll do a video about him. But we he worked in what the fuck, Barnes and Nobles at the time, and he'd always play her stuff. We were Bjork fanatics, man, and Bjork fanatics, Tool fanatics. So one of his coworkers was there because she was like she liked to go to New York for the coffee, and one of his coworkers were there, and he was like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's somebody here who's just like an absolute fanatic. He plays your stuff. It's kind of annoying, actually. Would you mind if I brought him?" And Reason actually got to like sit down with her and like have a cup of coffee or some shit. Like, awesome, But here's the thing, look. this is what makes music